Ladies and gentlemen, friends, and seekers of truth, I stand before you today with a message that is urgent. A message that could shape the course of your life and change your destiny. It's a call to action, a call to rise, to fight against something that many of us carry within us, even unknowingly. And that thing is laziness. Laziness is a silent killer, one that can rob us of our potential, stifle our dreams, and keep us from the purpose that God has laid out for us. You see, the future is a delicate thing. It's like a seed, one that requires attention, hard work, and perseverance. If you neglect it, if you let laziness take root, it will wither, and before you know it, you'll look back at the years lost, the opportunities missed, and wonder what happened. Laziness is often seen as a small, inconsequential flaw. It's easy to dismiss it as just a phase or a natural response to exhaustion. But make no mistake, laziness is a silent killer. It might not show its destructive power immediately, but over time, its effects can be devastating. The truth is, laziness is one of the most dangerous things you can allow to settle into your life. It starts small, with little excuses or temptations to take a break, to rest when you should be working, or to put off important tasks until later. But the longer you entertain laziness, the deeper it sinks into the fabric of your life, taking away not only your time, but also your energy, your motivation, and most tragically, your future. Laziness doesn't just affect the present, it affects your future in profound ways. Every moment you spend in idleness is a moment lost, a moment you will never get back. Think about it. How many opportunities have you let slip through your fingers because you were too tired, too distracted, or too complacent to take action? You might think that delaying something for a few hours, days, or weeks won't matter in the grand scheme of things. But laziness compounds over time. It builds, just like a slow leak in a ship. Eventually, that small leak becomes a flood that sinks everything in its path. It is also important to understand that laziness doesn't just affect our productivity or ability to complete tasks. It directly impacts our character. The more we indulge in laziness, the weaker our discipline becomes. We begin to weaken our willpower, making it harder to choose work over rest, to put in the effort, and to press on when we feel like quitting. Over time, laziness begins to shape our mindset. We start to think, why should I do this? It can wait, or I'll never be able to finish anyway. These thoughts weaken us, making us more vulnerable to procrastination and more resistant to growth. Laziness makes us believe we are incapable of greatness, and this belief can be even more damaging than the laziness itself. Another aspect of laziness is its tendency to spread. The more you allow laziness into your life, the easier it becomes to ignore responsibilities. If you start skipping workouts, putting off important tasks, or failing to follow through on promises, laziness starts to take root in all areas of your life. It doesn't just affect one part, it spreads like a disease, affecting your relationships, your personal growth, your work ethic, and even your spiritual life. The lack of discipline in one area will affect your ability to focus and grow in all others. Laziness, once allowed to take hold, becomes a pervasive force that impacts the entirety of your life. The thing is, laziness isn't something that can be fought with short bursts of effort. It's a long-term battle that requires a constant commitment to action. You cannot afford to wait for motivation to come to you. Motivation, after all, is often fleeting. It's easy to feel energized and ready to take on the world when you're in the right mood, but true progress comes when you decide to take action, even when you don't feel like it. The battle against laziness is won through daily, intentional effort. You can start by establishing small habits, daily routines that keep you on track even when your motivation is low. These habits will eventually become second nature, building momentum as they work in your favor. Laziness also feeds off your fears and insecurities. When faced with difficult tasks or overwhelming challenges, it's easy to retreat into comfort and avoid the hard work. Laziness is a defense mechanism against fear, but it's a false defense. In truth, avoiding difficult tasks only worsens our fear and anxiety. By addressing our challenges head-on, we build confidence and resilience. Laziness, however, locks us in a cycle of avoidance and fear. It prevents us from ever taking that first step toward growth. The damage that laziness does to your future is not always immediately visible. You may not see its impact today, but in 5 or 10 years, you might look back with regret. Your future is shaped by the actions you take today, and if you allow laziness to control you, you'll find yourself missing opportunities and unable to reach the potential that is waiting inside you. Your dreams, your ambitions, and your success are directly tied to the actions you take right now. So, when you choose laziness, you are choosing a future of missed opportunities, untapped potential, and unrealized dreams. Laziness is not just a harmless habit, it's a thief. It steals your time, your energy, your future. It's a quiet, subtle enemy that works against you when you're not looking. It may seem harmless at first, but over time, it will kill your dreams, your passions, and your potential. To kill your laziness, you must first recognize it for what it is, a killer of your future. And then you must take action to rise above it, to break free from its grip, and to choose discipline, work, and focus over comfort and ease. Your future is too valuable to be squandered by laziness. The time to take action is now. The future is something we often think about, but rarely act on in the present. We make plans for tomorrow, but too often we fail to realize that tomorrow is shaped by what we do today. The choices you make in the here and now will determine the path you walk in the future. You may not see the immediate consequences of your actions, but each decision you make today, whether big or small, plays a part in building the future that awaits you. One of the biggest mistakes we make when thinking about the future is assuming that it will just happen, or that things will simply fall into place. This line of thinking, fueled by procrastination and laziness, is dangerous. It leads us to believe that if we delay today's work, the future will somehow work itself out. But that's not how it works. The future doesn't happen by chance. It happens by design, and that design is created by the work and effort you put in today. Every action you take, every goal you set, every step you take toward growth and improvement today lays the foundation for what your future will look like. Too many people live in a state of passive waiting, as if the future will magically unfold without their involvement. This is a lie. The future doesn't come to you, you go to it. And you don't get to choose the future you want by waiting for it. You get to choose it by working for it day by day, hour by hour, making decisions now that will take you where you want to go. It's easy to get caught up in the idea of tomorrow as an abstract concept. But the reality is that tomorrow is the product of the choices you make today. Your future is built one decision at a time. And the choices you make today will determine whether you're moving closer to your dreams or farther away from them. This principle is true in every area of life, whether it's your career, your relationships, your health, or your personal growth. If you put off working on your career goals today, tomorrow will bring you one day closer to regret and missed opportunities. If you neglect your health today, tomorrow will bring the consequences of poor choices in the form of illness, fatigue, or missed physical milestones. If you put off nurturing your relationships today, tomorrow will bring you a growing distance between yourself and the people who matter most. It's important to recognize that time is not an unlimited resource. We all have a finite amount of it, and every moment that passes is one we'll never get back. The present is a gift that we often take for granted, and the future is a destination that we assume will always be there waiting for us. But the truth is that your future is already being shaped by what you do right now. The time to make your future what you want it to be is now, not tomorrow. Delaying action only delays progress, and before you know it, the years have passed, and you realize you've missed the chance to build the future you dreamt of. When you choose to act today, you are planting seeds for the future, just as a farmer doesn't expect to harvest crops without first planting seeds and nurturing them over time. You cannot expect to reap the rewards of success without putting in the work and effort now. Every small action you take today is like planting a seed in the soil of your future. It may not bear fruit immediately, but with consistent care and effort, those seeds will grow and develop into something meaningful. The time you invest today is an investment in the life you want tomorrow. The difference between a person who succeeds and a person who fails often comes down to this one key factor: whether they recognize that today matters. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that you have all the time in the world. I'll get to it tomorrow, you may tell yourself. But the reality is that you may not have the luxury of tomorrow if you don't start now. You may wake up one day and find that all your plans and dreams have remained nothing more than distant hopes, because you didn't act when you had the chance. Time doesn't wait for anyone, and neither does the future. Choosing to make the most of your time today is one of the most powerful decisions you can make for your future. It means saying no to distractions, saying no to laziness, and saying yes to intentional living. It means setting goals, taking small steps toward them every day, and holding yourself accountable. It means refusing to let the weight of today's challenges prevent you from stepping forward toward a better tomorrow. Your future is a reflection of your choices today. Every action you take, every decision you make, is shaping the life that you will one day live. If you want a future filled with purpose, success, and fulfillment, you must act with intention today. The future doesn't happen by accident. It happens by the choices you make in the present. If you want to build a future that is full of hope and promise, you must put in the work today, laying the groundwork for the future you envision. Your actions today will carve the path for tomorrow, so make them count. The future is waiting for you, and it's shaped by what you do now. The time to act is today, not tomorrow. Don't wait to create the life you desire. Start now and watch your future unfold before you. Laziness is not simply a matter of being tired or needing a break. It is a deeper, more insidious mindset that can seep into every part of your life. It's easy to dismiss laziness as a temporary inconvenience, but in reality, it is a condition of the mind, a way of thinking that leads to procrastination, inaction, and the refusal to take responsibility for one's own future. Understanding that laziness is a mindset, not just a physical state, is crucial if you want to overcome it and unlock your potential. At its core, laziness is about avoiding effort. It's the choice to remain comfortable rather than push yourself toward growth. It's about choosing the path of least resistance instead of the path that challenges you and requires hard work. And while seeking comfort is natural, it's important to recognize that growth happens only when we step out of our comfort zones. Success in life is not handed to us on a silver platter. It requires dedication, discipline, and the willingness to struggle, to fail, and to rise again. The mindset of laziness often manifests in the form of excuses. It can begin with the simplest rationalizations. I'll do it later. I'm too tired. I don't feel like it today. While these thoughts may seem harmless, they build a pattern of avoidance that can easily snowball into a habit. When you start to believe that you can always put things off, you begin to justify inaction. And before long, it becomes difficult to muster the energy to do anything at all. This mindset feeds off your fear of failure or discomfort, and it tells you that avoiding the task is safer, easier, and less risky. But in reality, it only leads to stagnation and missed opportunities. The mindset of laziness also thrives on negativity. It often tells you that you are not capable, that the task at hand is too difficult, or that success is out of reach. It can make you feel inadequate or overwhelmed before you even begin. This mindset creates a self-fulfilling prophecy. Because you believe you can't succeed, you don't even try, and because you don't try, you don't succeed. Laziness breeds defeatism, and defeatism keeps you stuck in a cycle of inaction. The longer you allow this mindset to control your thoughts, the more it diminishes your belief in your ability to accomplish anything of significance. Laziness often becomes a source of guilt and shame. When you give in to procrastination and avoid important tasks, you may feel a sense of regret later, but the guilt doesn't always motivate you to take action. Instead, it can lead to further avoidance. The more you beat yourself up over not doing something, the more paralyzed you become. This creates a vicious cycle. Laziness leads to guilt, and guilt leads to more laziness. It becomes harder and harder to break free from the trap because you are so caught up in negative emotions about your own lack of progress. This cycle of guilt, shame, and avoidance is one of the most destructive elements of laziness, and it can paralyze you from making any meaningful progress toward your goals. But here's the good news. Just as laziness is a mindset, it can also be changed through the way you think and act. Overcoming laziness starts with the realization that it is not a fixed trait, but a habit that can be broken. The key to breaking the grip of laziness is to change your mindset, to shift from one of avoidance and inaction to one of discipline and commitment. The first step in this transformation is to recognize the power of your thoughts. If you tell yourself that something is too hard or that you're not capable of doing it, you are reinforcing a belief of inadequacy. But if you choose to see challenges as opportunities for growth, if you change your internal dialogue to one of self-encouragement, you begin to shift the mindset from laziness to action. Instead of avoiding tasks, you can start approaching them with a sense of curiosity and determination. This shift may be uncomfortable at first, but as you take action and push through the discomfort, you begin to build momentum. Another way to break free from the mindset of laziness is to set small, achievable goals. Large tasks can often feel overwhelming and can trigger a sense of helplessness, which feeds into laziness. But when you break tasks down into smaller steps, they become more manageable and you can make steady progress. Each small win builds your confidence and shows you that you are capable of more than you thought. These small victories not only boost your motivation, but also reinforce the idea that hard work and persistence lead to success. Creating a structured routine is also an effective way to combat laziness. When you have a set plan and a daily schedule, It becomes harder to justify putting things off. Structure helps to keep you accountable to yourself and reminds you of your priorities. A routine helps you stay consistent, even on days when motivation is low. When you make certain actions a non-negotiable part of your day, whether it's exercise, work, or studying, laziness has less room to take hold. It's important to surround yourself with positive influences. The people you spend time with can have a significant impact on your mindset. If you're constantly surrounded by others who reinforce laziness or negative thinking, it becomes much harder to break free from it yourself. On the other hand, being around individuals who are driven, disciplined, and focused can inspire you to adopt the same attitude. Their energy and work ethic can motivate you to push through your own moments of laziness. Laziness is a mindset, a way of thinking that avoids effort and growth. But just as it is a mindset, it can be changed. To overcome laziness, you must first recognize that it is a habit, not an inherent part of who you are. With a shift in your thoughts, the establishment of small goals, the creation of a structured routine, and the influence of positive people, you can break free from the mindset of laziness and embrace a life of action, growth, and fulfillment. The choice is yours, and the time to make it is now. Overcoming laziness is not just about trying harder for a short period of time. It's about making a conscious decision to change the way you approach life. It's a mindset shift that requires consistent effort, but most importantly, it requires a belief that you have the power to make a change. Understanding that overcoming laziness is within your control is crucial to your success. The good news is, it is never too late to start. It doesn't matter where you are right now, whether you've been stuck in a cycle of procrastination for years, or whether you've just begun to notice its grip on your life. You have the ability to break free. The first step is recognizing that laziness is not an inherent part of who you are, but a habit that can be undone. One of the first things to acknowledge is that overcoming laziness requires discipline. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. It's about making the conscious choice to push yourself to do what's necessary, even when you don't feel like it. It requires you to step out of your comfort zone, to choose action over inaction, and to consistently remind yourself that your future is worth the effort. Discipline doesn't come from motivation alone. It comes from creating a routine, from sticking to your commitments, and from refusing to let distractions get in the way. Even when the excitement fades and the initial motivation starts to wear off, discipline will carry you forward. A crucial aspect of overcoming laziness is changing the way you think about work. Many times, laziness comes from the negative way we view tasks or challenges. We see work as burdensome, exhausting, or overwhelming, which makes us want to avoid it at all costs. But if you change the way you look at work, seeing it as an opportunity for growth, as a step towards your goals, and as something that can be fulfilling, you will start to develop a healthier relationship with the tasks at hand. Work doesn't have to be something you dread. It can be an empowering tool that moves you closer to your dreams. Another key to overcoming laziness is to start small. One of the reasons people fall into patterns of procrastination is because they are overwhelmed by the enormity of a task. When a project feels too big, it's easy to become paralyzed and put it off. But when you break a task down into smaller, more manageable steps, it feels less intimidating. By focusing on one small task at a time, You create a sense of accomplishment and build momentum. Each small success gives you the confidence to keep going, proving to yourself that you are capable and that your goals are achievable. Over time, these small tasks add up to big results, and you'll look back and realize just how much you've accomplished by taking consistent, small steps toward your larger goal. Taking action is an essential part of breaking the cycle of laziness. You might feel overwhelmed or lack the energy to get started, but the truth is that action is often the catalyst for motivation. Once you begin, you'll find that the task at hand becomes easier and more manageable. The hardest part is always starting. Once you begin taking steps toward your goal, the process starts to gain momentum. It's like pushing a heavy boulder up a hill. The hardest part is at the beginning. But once you get a few steps in, it becomes easier to keep going. So even when you don't feel motivated, remember that action will often create motivation. Don't wait for the perfect moment, because the perfect moment may never come. Start where you are with what you have and take that first step toward making a change. In addition to taking action, it's crucial to hold yourself accountable. The path to overcoming laziness is not one you can walk alone. You need to set goals for yourself and hold yourself accountable to them. This might mean checking in with someone you trust, setting daily or weekly goals, or even keeping a journal of your progress. Accountability ensures that you stay on track and don't allow yourself to slip into the comfort of inaction. The power of accountability lies in its ability to remind you of your commitment to change and to hold you to a higher standard. When you make yourself accountable, you take ownership of your actions, and that ownership helps keep you focused on your long-term goals. A helpful practice in overcoming laziness is to develop a routine that reinforces your commitment to action. A daily routine removes the need to constantly make decisions about when or how to take action. When you create a structured day that includes time for work, exercise, rest, and personal growth, you are less likely to fall into patterns of procrastination. Routine creates consistency, and consistency breeds discipline. It's much easier to overcome laziness when you have a plan in place and know exactly what you need to do each day. With time, these routines become habits, and what once felt like a struggle becomes a natural part of your life. Overcoming laziness is also about developing patience and perseverance. You won't break free from laziness overnight, and there will be times when you slip back into old habits, but every setback is an opportunity to learn and grow. Don't let failures or mistakes discourage you. Remember that success is not achieved by perfection, but by persistence. Every time you get back on track, you are strengthening your resolve, and you're one step closer to becoming the person you want to be. The key to overcoming laziness is realizing that you have the power to change. No matter how deep-seated the habit may seem, you can create a new mindset, establish discipline, and take action toward your goals. You have the ability to shape your future through the choices you make today. Don't wait for motivation to come to you. Make the decision to take action now. Trust that every step you take, no matter how small, brings you closer to a future filled with purpose and fulfillment. The time to start is now, and the choice is yours. In order to truly overcome laziness, it's essential to develop the habit of taking responsibility for your own actions, your choices, and your life. Responsibility is the cornerstone of personal growth. Without it, you cannot make meaningful progress or build the life you want. Laziness, at its core, is a form of avoidance. And one of the key reasons we procrastinate or refuse to take action is because we're unwilling to confront the hard work that's required to create positive change. When we refuse to take responsibility, we are also refusing to take control of our own future. And in doing so, we allow laziness to control us. Taking responsibility for your life means understanding that you are the one who has the power to make decisions and to shape your own destiny. It's easy to blame external circumstances for why things aren't going the way we want. We might blame our lack of success on bad luck, unfavorable situations, or other people. But when we take responsibility, we recognize that we have the ability to influence our outcomes through our choices, our actions, and our commitment. No matter how difficult or challenging life may seem, we can always control how we respond. And that is where the power lies. When you take responsibility for your actions, you stop making excuses. Excuses are a form of self-deception, a way to justify why we didn't do what we knew needed to be done. Excuses give us an easy out, allowing us to stay in our comfort zones without facing the reality of our inaction. It's easy to say, I didn't have enough time, or I was too tired. But these are just excuses. In reality, we all have the same 24 hours in a day, and we all face challenges, distractions, and obstacles. What separates those who succeed from those who don't is their ability to take responsibility and act in spite of the difficulties. Successful people don't let excuses define them. They take ownership of their choices and focus on what they can control. Taking responsibility also means recognizing the long-term impact of your choices. Laziness doesn't just affect the present moment. It has a ripple effect that can impact your entire future. When you procrastinate, you're not just putting off a task. You're delaying your own progress and your own potential. Every time you choose to avoid responsibility, you are sabotaging your future. You're giving up the opportunity to build the life you want, to reach your full potential and to achieve your goals. It's not enough to look at the immediate benefit of avoiding hard work. You must look at the consequences that come down the road. Taking responsibility means making decisions with the future in mind. It means seeing the bigger picture and understanding that every choice you make today will either bring you closer to or further away from the life you desire. Taking responsibility for your life also means taking accountability for your own growth. It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that others are responsible for our success or failure. We might blame our environment, our upbringing, our circumstances for where we are in life. But when we take ownership of our own growth, we stop playing the victim and start taking active steps toward improvement. Growth requires self-awareness, self-discipline, and the courage to face your weaknesses. It's not about blaming others or waiting for someone else to fix things for you. It's about recognizing that you are the one who has to take the steps to improve your life. It's your responsibility to seek out knowledge, to put in the effort, and to take risks in order to grow. A key part of taking responsibility is learning to manage your time effectively. Laziness often stems from poor time management. When we don't plan our time, we allow distractions, procrastination, and lack of direction to take over. We end up wasting time on things that don't matter, and in the process, we neglect the important tasks that could lead us to success. Taking responsibility for your time means being intentional with how you use it. It means setting clear priorities and scheduling your day in a way that aligns with your goals. It also means resisting the urge to give in to distractions like scrolling through social media or watching TV that take you further away from your objectives. By taking responsibility for how you spend your time, you take control of your progress and ensure that you are consistently working toward your future. Taking responsibility means developing resilience in the face of failure. Laziness often thrives in an environment where failure is feared or avoided. When we refuse to take responsibility, we're also refusing to face the challenges and setbacks that are a natural part of life. But failure is not something to be feared. It's an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to improve. When you take responsibility for your actions, you understand that failure is not the end. It's simply a stepping stone on the path to success. It's through the mistakes and the struggles that we build resilience and strength. Taking responsibility for your failures means accepting them, learning from them, and using them as fuel to keep moving forward. Taking responsibility for your own life ultimately leads to a sense of empowerment. You begin to realize that you have the ability to shape your own destiny and that your future is in your hands. You are no longer a passive observer waiting for things to happen. You are an active participant in your own story. You have the power to make decisions, take action, and change your life. When you embrace responsibility, you unlock the potential that lies within you and break free from the chains of laziness and inaction. In conclusion, overcoming laziness requires taking full responsibility for your life. You must stop making excuses, stop blaming others, and take ownership of your choices. Responsibility means understanding the impact of your actions on your future, managing your time wisely, and embracing growth and failure as part of the process. By taking responsibility, you empower yourself to create the life you want, and you take control of your own destiny. The power to overcome laziness and achieve your goals lies within your ability to take responsibility for your own actions. So, make the choice today to step up, take ownership, and begin the journey of transformation. To truly overcome laziness, it's important to develop a deep sense of purpose and motivation. Without a strong reason to take action, it can be incredibly difficult to overcome the inertia that laziness creates. Motivation is the driving force behind everything we do, and without it, even the simplest tasks can seem overwhelming. It's easy to fall into the trap of waiting for motivation to strike. But in reality, motivation doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It must be cultivated and nurtured. Developing a sense of purpose that resonates deeply with you will provide the energy and drive needed to overcome laziness and pursue your goals relentlessly. The first step in cultivating motivation is to identify why you want to succeed. It's not enough to simply set goals or aspire to achieve something. Your goals need to have personal meaning. When you know why you want to achieve something, you'll find that you're willing to put in the work required to make it happen. Without purpose, goals can feel hollow, and the effort required to achieve them can feel pointless. But when you attach a deeper meaning to your goals, whether it's creating a better future for yourself and your family, contributing to a cause you care about, or achieving personal growth, suddenly the hard work doesn't seem so daunting. Purpose gives you the why that will drive you to keep moving forward, even when the path gets tough. One of the most effective ways to stay motivated is to break down your larger goals into smaller, actionable steps. Large goals can often feel too far out of reach, and the enormity of the task can discourage us from even starting. But when you break a goal down into smaller tasks, you create a roadmap that you can follow step by step. Each small accomplishment brings you closer to the larger goal, and with each small success, your motivation grows. It's important to celebrate these small wins along the way, recognizing that each step is an achievement in itself. By focusing on one task at a time and acknowledging your progress, you build momentum that will carry you forward. It's also important to understand that motivation doesn't always come naturally. There will be days when you don't feel like doing the work, when procrastination seems tempting, and when laziness tries to take hold. On those days, it's crucial to push through and take action anyway. Motivation often follows action, not the other way around. Once you start making progress, even if it's just a small step, you'll find that your motivation begins to grow. It's like starting a car on a cold morning. You may need to turn the key several times before the engine catches, but once it does, it runs smoothly. The same is true for motivation. The more you act, the more motivated you'll feel to keep going. Another key to staying motivated is to remind yourself of your ultimate vision. When you're in the middle of a challenging project or task, it's easy to lose sight of the bigger picture. The grind of daily work can feel monotonous, and it may seem like progress is slow. But by consistently reminding yourself of why you're doing what you're doing, you can reignite your passion and motivation. Visualize the outcome you want to achieve, and let that vision fuel your drive. Whether you picture yourself completing the project, achieving your goals, or experiencing the personal satisfaction that comes from overcoming challenges, keep that image in your mind. Let it serve as a beacon to guide you through difficult moments. It's also important to surround yourself with sources of motivation and inspiration. The people you spend time with, the media you consume, and the environment you create for yourself all have an impact on your mindset. If you're constantly around people who are negative, apathetic, or who don't take their own goals seriously, it can be difficult to stay motivated. On the other hand, when you surround yourself with driven, positive individuals who are focused on their own growth, their energy and enthusiasm can be contagious. Seek out people who inspire you and encourage you to push beyond your limits. Additionally, consuming motivational content such as books, podcasts, or videos can help reignite your passion and remind you of what's possible. Staying motivated also requires self-discipline. Motivation alone won't carry you to your destination if you don't have the discipline to follow through on your commitments. Discipline means doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. It's about creating habits and routines that support your goals, regardless of how you feel in the moment. When you combine motivation with discipline, you create a powerful force that drives you towards success. Discipline helps you stay consistent, even when motivation wanes, and ensures that you continue to make progress on your journey. It's important to recognize that setbacks are a natural part of the process. There will be moments when things don't go according to plan and when failure or frustration threaten to derail your progress. However, true motivation comes from the ability to persevere in the face of adversity. When you encounter setbacks, use them as opportunities to learn and grow. Instead of allowing them to defeat you, let them fuel your determination to push forward. Every setback is an opportunity to build resilience, and every obstacle you overcome strengthens your ability to continue moving toward your goals. Remember that motivation is not a one-time event. It's an ongoing process. It's something that you must continuously cultivate and nurture throughout your journey. As you achieve goals and make progress, your motivation may fluctuate, and that's perfectly normal. The key is to stay committed to your vision and take consistent action. When you keep your focus on the bigger picture and take daily steps toward your goals, motivation will continue to propel you forward. Developing motivation and a sense of purpose is crucial in overcoming laziness. Motivation is the force that drives you to take action and stay focused on your goals, even in the face of challenges. By connecting your goals to a deeper sense of purpose, breaking them down into manageable tasks, and cultivating discipline, you can build and maintain the motivation needed to overcome laziness. Remember that motivation doesn't come automatically. It must be nurtured, and it must be coupled with consistent effort. Keep your vision in mind. Stay committed to your goals, and take action every day. By doing so, you will break free from the grip of laziness and unlock your true potential.